Today, you'll improve your fluency in English by reading and listening to English at the same time. We're going to read a news article together. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, I'll read the headline. This Vancouver man knows over 20 languages, and he's sharing his secrets so you can learn more too. 20 languages. Can you believe it? How many languages do you speak? Share that in the comments. I speak English as my native language. I speak French as a second language that I learned as an adult, and I'm learning Spanish. So when I see that this man speaks 20 languages, that is very impressive. Now, a little geography pop quiz for you. Vancouver. Do you know where Vancouver is? Vancouver is in, do you know? Put your answer in the comments. Vancouver is in Canada. So this man is from the same country as I am. We are both Canadian, but he speaks many more languages than I do. This Vancouver man knows over 20 languages. So how many languages does he know if it says over 20 languages? It's not precise when you say over. Over simply means more than. More than. So 21 is more than 20. 22 is over 20. So you can say over or more than 20 languages. And he's sharing his secrets so you can learn more too. Now notice here, he's sharing his secrets. You share something, in this case, a secret, with someone. But you don't need to include that information if it's obvious based on the context. It's obvious he's sharing his secrets with us. But sometimes it might not be obvious. For example, you could say, I shared the report with Mary, and you need to specify who you shared the report with. In this case, it would be beneficial to include the with someone. So you share something, in this case, a secret with someone. So this man is sharing his secrets with us. So hopefully we'll learn more languages too. Now, don't worry about taking these notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can look in the description to download that. Let's continue. A Vancouver polyglot. Polyglot, this is the word to describe someone who speaks many languages. Now, how many languages? It isn't precise. I would not consider myself a polyglot. Do you consider yourself a polyglot? Notice how I also said consider myself a polyglot. So that's the sentence structure. You consider someone something. Here's the question. Do you consider yourself a polyglot? In the short form, you can say yes. Yes, I do. Or no, I don't. This is the short form to answer. If you wanted to answer in a complete sentence, you would say, I don't consider myself a polyglot. Or in the positive, I consider myself a polyglot. That would be in the positive. Now, to use consider, notice here, to be, he is considered. To be considered and then something. He's considered one of the best language learners in the world because he speaks over 20 languages. So feel free to put your answer, yes, I do, no, I don't, in the comments. Let's continue. A Vancouver polyglot and popular YouTuber is teaching others his secret to learning a new language after acquiring more than 24 foreign languages for work and fun. So how many is 24? How many is 1 dozen? 1 dozen is 12. That would be 1 dozen is 12. So what is 2 dozen? Of course, it's 24. So now we know he speaks more than 24 languages. Remember, we could also say over 24 languages, more than 24 foreign languages for work and fun. When you acquire a language, it's another way of saying that you now have that language. So you now have the ability to use that language after acquiring more than 24 foreign languages. Steve Kaufman, the name of this man, did you know who he was, by the way, before you just learned about him? Steve Kaufman, 76. This is his age. He's 76 years old, who has over 500,000 subscribers on his language teaching YouTube channel. So you can Google him and subscribe as well. Said his love for learning new languages started when he met a professor at McGill University in Montreal who encouraged him to continue his academic studies in France. Let's take a look at this sentence structure. You encourage someone to do something. So encourage is your verb. You need to conjugate it with the subject and the time reference. So here's an example. Jennifer encouraged me to subscribe to Steve Kaufman's YouTube channel. So this is in the past simple because it's a completed action. I already did this. Remember, just a few seconds ago, I said you can subscribe to his YouTube channel. So I encouraged you to do that. When you encourage someone to do something, you support that action, you give them advice to do it, you suggest it, you make them feel comfortable and confident doing that action. Jennifer encouraged me to subscribe to Steve Kaufman's YouTube channel.
Before we move on, I'd love to tell you about LingQ, my personal favorite way to learn a language. LingQ is a language app that lets you learn from content you love. The reason why I use LingQ to learn languages and why I recommend you do too is because of the app's focus on input. On LingQ, you have access to thousands of hours of content that includes both audio and text, so you can both read and listen to English. Plus, you can import content directly from YouTube, Netflix, blogs, the news, and much more. For example, you know those news articles that I like to share in my videos? You can easily import them into LingQ and create your own interactive lessons. You'll be able to easily look up words and phrases, track your statistics, and level up your English ability. I first started using LingQ because the platform was co-founded by Steve Kaufman. As we just learned, he's a polyglot who speaks 20 languages. His method focuses on input, lots of reading and lots of listening. And that's why LingQ, the app Steve co-founded, is so effective. It makes reading and listening to content in my target language easier and more enjoyable. LingQ is available on both desktop and mobile, so you can practice your English anytime, anywhere. And LingQ is giving all JForrest English viewers a 35% discount off a 1-year premium plan if you upgrade using my coupon code. You'll also have access to my special LingQ shelf, which includes my favorite English articles and TV shows. I highly recommend LingQ because I know it will help you improve your English quickly and you'll have a lot of fun in the process. So use the link in the description to sign up now. Let's continue with our lesson.
Everything was in French, so I became very fluent. And when I was a student, I hitchhiked a lot to Spain, Italy, and Germany. So I kind of picked up those languages too. Do you know what it means to hitchhike? Have you ever seen this before? Hitchhike is a verb. And when you hitchhike, you travel from location A to B, and you do that by getting a free ride in someone else's vehicle, and you do not know who that person is. That person is a stranger. In North America, we hitchhike although it's not very common, but you hitchhike by standing on the side of the road and you put your thumb out by the side of the road. And usually you have some bags with you, and this means you want someone to stop their car, and then you will get in their car and they will take you somewhere else for free. There's no expectation that you would pay. Is that a concept that exists in the country you live in? To be honest, I certainly would never hitchhike. To me, it sounds very dangerous, especially as a woman. However, it is an interesting concept as well. Maybe in very specific situations, I would hitchhike, but it is not something I have ever done. Have you ever hitchhiked, or have you ever picked up a hitchhiker? A hitchhiker is someone who hitchhikes. So if you've picked up a hitchhiker, it means you are the one giving the free ride to someone else, and that someone else is a stranger. I wrote a hitchhiker for you. Remember, someone who hitchhikes. As I was writing this, I thought to myself, maybe I would feel comfortable hitchhiking if I was with someone. So put this in the chat. I'll hitchhike with you, Jennifer. And that means you and I will stand by the side of the road and go like this and try to get a free ride to another destination. So that would be a once in a lifetime experience, and we can do it together. So put that in the comments. I'll hitchhike with you, Jennifer. And notice this is your verb. This is in the future simple. I will hitchhike. I'll hitchhike with you, Jennifer. We'll do it together. Okay, so I hitchhiked. Remember, this is Steve Kaufman speaking. I hitchhiked a lot to Spain, to Italy, to Germany. So you hitchhike to a location. I hitchhiked from Spain to Italy, for example. So I kind of picked up those languages too. Let's talk about this. To pick up a language. When you pick up a skill or a language, it means you learn it. You learn that skill or you learn that language by practicing it rather than being taught it, which means you didn't formally study it. So here, remember, he spent time in Spain. So if he picked up Spanish, it means he learned Spanish simply by being in Spain and being exposed to the Spanish language, hearing people speak it, seeing the signs on the streets, and that's how he learned Spanish. He didn't sit in a classroom and formally study Spanish. He picked it up. Now, right now, you are doing a combination of both because I am formally teaching you specific words like hitchhike, but you are learning a lot of other vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar rules simply by being exposed to it. So you are formally learning some language right now, but you're also picking up a lot of vocabulary. Now, interestingly, you pick up a language, which means you learn it more informally, but you also pick up a hitchhiker, but that is in a completely different context. When you pick up a hitchhiker, it means they enter your vehicle and you transport that person from location A to location B. So one phrasal verb to pick up used in two completely different contexts. I wrote that example here for you so you can see pick up being used in our context of a hitchhiker. I've never picked up a hitchhiker. So hitchhiker is a noun. That's why we have an article, because it's referring to the noun, a hitchhiker. Let's continue. Today, Kaufman speaks more than over 20 languages, including, before I read this long list, is the language you speak on this list? Is your native language on this list? There's a lot of languages here, including English, French, Japanese, Mandarin, Korean, Spanish, Swedish, German, Italian, Cantonese, Portuguese, Greek, Polish, and Hebrew. Woo, that's a long list. He's currently in the middle of learning Russian, Arabic, and Farsi. All right, in the middle of, this means the action is in progress now, in the middle of. Let's continue. He said 15 years ago, on his 60th birthday, he and his son decided to create a website and YouTube channel to help others who are interested in picking up a new language. So now you see this again, who are interested in picking up. And notice our expression here, to be, who are, to be conjugated with the subject and time reference. Others, this is conjugated with others. Others, because it's they are. Others who are interested, this is always in the ED form because it's functioning as an adjective. Interested in, now you're interested in something, interested in languages. That would be a something, or you're interested in doing something, so you need your gerund verb. Interested in picking up a new language. I wrote that sentence structure there for you. Using flashcards and content from Netflix, movies, and books, he said the site, LingQ.com, which you now are very familiar with, and I encourage you to sign up for. LingQ.com teaches people a new language in the same way that people learn to speak their native language. So it's using very natural content, Netflix, movies, and books, just like we're doing now, learning with the news in a very natural way. The first language is the most difficult, Kaufman said. But once you do it, it becomes easier and your mind becomes a little more flexible. Would you agree with that the first language is the most difficult? I think I agree. The second language I learned was definitely a lot easier than the first language I learned, simply because I knew how to learn a language and I learned from the mistakes I made learning the first language, and I was able to correct those mistakes and learn a lot more efficiently. Have you had that same situation? But once you do it, it becomes easier and your mind becomes a little more flexible. Our website, LingQ.com, our website has beginner material that we have designed, which has a lot of repetition and lots of listening and reading. So as you know, I'm also all about the repetition. I say that all the time. Repetition, repetition, repetition. And what you're doing right now, reading and listening. You're doing these two skills, and this helps you pick up a language a lot faster. The key to learning a new language is listening and reading, Kaufman says. Okay, let's talk about this. The key to something or doing something. This is a great expression. It's an idiom. The key to, and then you have something or doing something. This means the best or the only way to achieve something. Now, notice that the is part of the expression. You need it. The key to learning. Now, here's an example with a noun form. The key to something, in this case, success. The key to success is... Now, if I wanted to turn this into a verb, I need a gerund verb. The key to attaining success, the key to achieving, you could also say achieving success is, so you can have the exact same point, but one form is a noun form and the other form is a verb form, and you need the gerund. So what do you think? What's the key to success? Feel free to share that in the comments, and why not inspire people? I will share my key to success with you. I believe that the key to success is, if I had to only choose one thing, I would say consistency. Consistency. This is a something. When you're consistent, it means you do that action many, many times. Or if you say, I'm going to eat healthy every single day, well, you do it every single day. It's consistency. This is the something, the noun form. Now, if I want to turn this into a verb form, I would say the key to attaining success is being consistent. To be, this is our verb in ing, and then consistent, this is an adjective that describes the verb. This is my opinion, and this is how I have personally achieved success. Do you agree with this? What do you think the key to success is? Practice that in the comments. Let's continue. The key to learning a new language is listening and reading, Kaufman said, and to overwhelmingly expose yourself to the language and increase your vocabulary. When you overwhelmingly expose yourself, to a language, it simply means that you constantly see English. If you expose yourself multiple times a day, you hear English, you see English, you read English. That is expose yourself. And when you overwhelmingly, it simply makes how much you expose yourself very strong. Overwhelmingly expose yourself, it sounds like multiple times a day you see English, hear English. You do everything you can to make sure your environment has English in it. So you're seeing, listening to, speaking, reading, writing English constantly. That would be overwhelmingly expose yourself to the language. Let's continue. If you are going to go to Mexico, maybe you'll hitchhike to Mexico. If you're going to go to Mexico, give yourself a year to really build up your ability to comprehend so that when you get there, you can actually operate, he suggested. When you build up your ability, when you build something up, it means you make it stronger and stronger and stronger. And your ability is your ability to understand the language, to speak the language, to use the language. So again, to build up your ability, that means to increase your ability, or your ability becomes stronger or larger. Kaufman says learning a new language helps him experience a new culture and learn about people in different places around the world. When you learn another language, those people of that country come to life. So you have a totally different perception of that country. A perception is how you see that country. So before you come to Canada, you of course have this image in your mind of what Canada is or what Canadian people are like. But then when you actually visit Canada, your perception, how you see the country and the people is going to be very different. You have a totally different perception of that country. And in my opinion, that's why traveling is so amazing. Those people and that culture, he said. And that's the end of the article. I hope you are now inspired learning about someone who speaks 20 languages. So now what I'll do is I'll go to the top and I'll read the article from start to finish. And this time you can focus on my pronunciation. This Vancouver man knows over 20 languages, and he's sharing his secrets so you can learn more too. A Vancouver polyglot and popular YouTuber is teaching others his secret to learning a new language after acquiring more than 24 foreign languages for work and fun. Steve Kaufman, 76, who has over 500,000 subscribers on his language teaching YouTube channel, said his love for learning new languages started when he met a professor at McGill University in Montreal who encouraged him to continue his academic studies in France. Everything was in French, so I became very fluent. And when I was a student, I hitchhiked a lot to Spain, Italy, and Germany, so I kind of picked up those languages too. Today, Kaufman speaks over 20 languages, including English, French, Japanese, Mandarin, Korean, Spanish, Swedish, German, Italian, Cantonese, Portuguese, Greek, Polish, and Hebrew. He's currently in the middle of learning Russian, Arabic, and Farsi. He said 15 years ago, on his 60th birthday, he and his son decided to create a website and YouTube channel to help others who are interested in picking up a new language. Using flashcards and content from Netflix, movies, and books, he said the site, LingQ.com, teaches people a new language in the same way that people learn to speak their native language. The first language is the most difficult, Kaufman said. But once you do it, it becomes easier and your mind becomes a little more flexible. Our website has beginner material that we have designed, which has a lot of repetition and lots of listening and reading. The key to learning a new language is listening and reading, Kaufman said, and to overwhelmingly expose yourself to the language to increase your vocabulary. If you are going to go to Mexico, give yourself a year to really build up your ability to comprehend so that when you get there, you can actually operate, he suggested. Kaufman says learning a new language helps him experience a new culture and learn about people in different places around the world. When you learn another language, those people of that country come to life. So you have a totally different perception of that country, those people, and that culture, he said.
I hope you're feeling motivated and inspired to keep learning English and keep learning other languages, and maybe one day you'll become a polyglot and speak 20 languages as well. And remember, LingQ is giving you a 35% discount off a 1-year premium plan. You can click right here to sign up now, or you can look for the description in the link. I know you'll love using LingQ and it will help take your fluency to the next level.